is an Unspoiled Network podcast.
This is Unspoiled, covering Harry Potter, the Rereading, Chamber of Secrets, chapters 11, 12. It's actually chapter 11, part 2.
Oh, that's right.
In this episode, we try and pick up where we left off last time. And, just finish a podcast. That's our goal here today, is to finish. Fingers crossed. Welcome to Unspoiled.
Shit, where did we stop last time?
If you're in the illustrated version, we stopped at like 153. We stopped basically in the middle of Harry's confrontation with Ernie Macmillan. We didn't quite get to the part where Harry finds Justin in the hall.
Oh, wow. We should have started recording way earlier. I forgot we had to make up these chapters.
Well, it's only like there's only 2 pages left in this chapter before we go on to the next 2. But yeah, so guys, hopefully y'all can, forgive us. I'm trying my best to figure out how to get all of this recording, strife, calmed down and down at a reasonable level. My co-hosts don't seem to run into this kind of thing as much as me, but I can't help but wonder if that's just because I record 7 times a week. Probably. So there's just more opportunity for everything to go wrong. But anyway, sorry about last week. Hope you still enjoyed it, despite the cuts and whatnot. And, yeah. So welcome to the show. I'm Natasha.
I'm Rashawn.
I figure that this time I want to start off by saying thank you. Because we had a surge of donations over the past couple days. And part of that, I think, is due to me announcing what the reward is going to be. So I'm going to say hi and thank you to our donors. We have an anonymous donor, Toph Only, who left a message. I'm sorry, Toph, if I'm not saying your name right. Going to Wizarding World was an amazing experience for me as an avid fan of Harry Potter, and I wish every fan could have the same experience. Can't wait to hear about your guys' trip. Katie Bishop, Michael Joyner, who says, can't tell you how cool it was to experience HP again through the eyes of Rashawn. Thanks for bringing hours of joy to long car rides, lawn mowing, and housework. Enjoy HP World. I went this past January, and it was an incredible experience. Can't wait for the movie podcast. Tristan Hydett says, I'm crushed I can't go with you guys, especially because I've never been and it sounds amazeballs. But I shall live vicariously through you two. I hope you have the best time ever. Donna Doherty says, I hope you guys have a great time on the trip. Caitlin Hammond Brown says, have a great trip. You both deserve it for the hours of amazing entertainment you provided. Thank you for everything you do. I just wish I could come too. Nainesh Patel donated. Ketley Duver donated. Joanna Phillips donated and says, I hope you guys have an amazing time. Mary King donated. What's up, Mary? I know you. Alice McEwen donated and said, thank you both for this wonderful experience of reliving the world of Harry Potter with you. You have given me so many smiles and genuine laughter. I hope you both have a truly amazing trip. Thank you, Alice. Another anonymous donation, Alex Gallup donated. Another anonymous donation, Kate Tangus says, have an amazing trip, ladies. Bridget Blakemore donated, said, I wish I could go with you guys too. I just don't have the money to be able to afford going myself, but at least I can help you out a little bit. Have an amazing time. Can't wait to hear all about it. Liz Schaefer says, I wish I could donate more, you gals, but broke newlyweds buying our first home and such. Hope you ladies have a great time. Thank you, Liz, and congratulations. She just got married.
Congratulations.
And Sarah Bergen says, Tasha and Roro, I know I do not have to tell the two of you to have fun because there's no doubt in my mind this would be the best trip ever. I'm gutted I'll be missing it due to circumstances beyond my control. Not sure what the exchange rate is on my measly Canadian currency. Hopefully enough for you two to do a shot in the sunshine on the beach. I will be stuck here in the frozen north, but thankfully have so many of your lovely podcasts to catch up on while I sit by the fire and try not to be jealous. Thank you for all your hard work, ladies. And then most recently, Noelle Blanchard donated and said, thanks for all the entertainment, Natasha and Rashawn. I hope you enjoy your well-deserved vacation. So in total, we have 61 people donated over the past 3 months. So we have raised $2,075, which is amazing. Thank you guys all so much. Rashawn and I are Rashawn, me, and Owen are going to be sharing a room. So that will cover our room and our tickets to the park and probably, a couple of meals or something. But I upped our goal to 3,000 so that we can have a little wiggle room so that I could pay for the room that we'll be doing the actual live recording in, because we're going to have to rent a conference room for that. Which I will feel silly if 10 people come and we've got this whole fucking room with chairs and there's just a very small scattering of people. I haven't gotten a good feel for how many people are actually coming. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know at all what to expect, but I said 30 people, which I think is optimistic. We'll see. Mm-hmm. But for those who are interested, the live recording is going to be on Saturday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. We're going to watch the first Harry Potter movie, except instead of the actual audio for the movie, we're going to have a commentary by Brad Neely, Wizard People, dear readers, playing over it. And then Rashawn and I will talk about that, and that will be the actual podcast. So if you haven't seen or listened to Wizard People, dear readers, already, and you think you can come to the event, I would say wait and watch it with us for the first time because it's pretty good. And if you aren't able to come, go listen to it immediately because it's really funny. But yeah, so December 2nd, 6 p.m. It will be in the Cabana Bay Hotel in Cabana Bay Resort in Orlando, and I'm not charging for this. I actually found out that I don't think I am allowed to charge for it because we'll be showing a movie, but regardless, I was not planning on it. But if you are able to throw a few bucks our way in order to make it happen, that would be super appreciated. Thank you, everybody who donated already. And Rashawn and I were talking about this the other day. Everything is terrible right now, and I've been getting a lot of messages from people who have let me know that the podcast has helped them get through some really rough points in their lives, whether that be because of the climate right now or because of battles with mental illness, such as I myself struggle with, and Rashawn as well. I feel like there's hardly any co-host of mine that doesn't deal with that. And it's just really good to know that we're doing something. And we were talking about the reward for the fundraiser, and we had originally intended to do a 1 episode coverage of all 8 movies. And then we were thinking about it, and we were like, we've got some time before the trip, and we could all use a little bit of a boost. And we decided we would split it up into 3 different episodes and do 1 a month. So we're going to try within the next couple of weeks to record the first one. We're going to do movies 1 through 3 in the first episode, movies 4 through 6 in the next one, and then the final 2 movies, which are both for book 7, in the last one, and try and release 1 a month up until we go on our trip. And that is going to be for everybody who donates. You get all of them. So I just, huge thank you to everybody. I hope that this feels like an adequate thank you. I think it's going to be more important as time goes on for us to have somewhere that we can go to get away from what is happening. There are times where it can feel a little bit like I shouldn't be allowed to get away from it. Like if I'm not constantly paying attention, that it's me like shirking my duty a little bit. But I think Rashawn would agree with me when I say you need to protect your brain. And
I agree.
Yeah, you can't just be on it all the time.
My brain is turning to mush with the
right.
level of awfulness that is around. So yeah.
Yeah, I started using this app Habitica, which it's a productivity app that's like a game. It's been hugely helpful in keeping me focused on my work and keeping me off of Facebook. And there's an undeniable correlation between being off of Facebook and my mood being better. Like, I need to know what's going on, but it is easy to get sucked in, and it's not healthy. Like, there's a point at which you're just churning your feet in the mud and you're not actually getting anywhere. So I think it's all of our sort of challenge to figure out where that line is. But hopefully putting out this kind of entertainment for y'all will help you relax a little bit and get away from it and recharge and be a little bit happier and better than when you started. So fingers crossed on that. So yeah, thank you to everybody who fundraised with us. And if you haven't and you're interested, it's gofundme.com/unspoiledhpworld. And feel free to donate whatever you can. We've had donations from $5 to $250. Like, any amount is totally welcome and really appreciated. And no matter what you donate, you're going to get all 3 movie podcasts. So, all right, there's that. Shall we get started?
I think so.
All right. So, we're picking up where we had left off. Ernie Macmillan is trying to argue with Harry that he saw Harry chasing the snake toward Justin.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that I really want to know. Is Ernie, like, does he really believe that he saw that?
I think it's that thing that happens where, yeah, I think he does believe. I don't think he's just lying. I don't think he is purposely just making something up. I think he really believes that's what he saw, which is so frightening because we do that. We kind of, we really do that thing where we misinterpret something that's happening right in front of us, and based on our own fears or biases or whatever, we just ascribe an entirely false narrative to what just occurred in front of our face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really like, because part of me was like, because it's either he believes that it happened and he saw what he saw, or he's talked to so many people about it that they have told him what they saw and he has sort of adopted it and I'm not even saying that he's like putting on a front, but you know how that can be, where enough people tell you and it influences what you remember.
Yeah, I think that's totally what, I think that it plays a big part in what's happening. I think between the fear of the moment and the shock of the moment, and him seeing something but not understanding what he was seeing, and then you're right, talking to people and feeding those flames, and all of a sudden he's sure he saw something he didn't see.
Yeah, and Harry's just like, well, why would I even want to attack Muggle-borns? And he's like, well, you hate the Muggles you live with. And Harry's like, duh. Of course I do. Yeah. Anybody would.
Because they're completely hateable. That's an entirely different conversation. Exactly.
Precisely.
Fuck, what was I ready to say? That's why, they say eyewitness testimony is so unreliable in court cases.
Yeah.
Because, our brains really are susceptible to that type of manipulation and misremembering things and filling in the gaps with shit that didn't actually happen to give yourself the illusion that you have a fuller, more complete memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just scary how quickly Ernie becomes super convinced that he's 100% right in what he saw.
Yeah, it's something that I had like really starkly pointed out to me, and there was no room for like interpretation on it. I was working at that bank, and I swear to God, a clear as day memory of getting a strap of hundreds from the girl that worked next to me. And you're supposed to write a slip every time you trade straps with another, what do you call it, teller. And I had this memory that I traded straps. At the end of the day, I did my count and I was over or short or something, but she wasn't. And if we had written our friggin' slips, we would have been in sync with each other. But she was totally like straight across the board down to the last cent. And but I had this memory that I got a strap from her, and it was so clear in my mind that we wound up like going and talking to our manager and being like, I swear to God, I'm over by 1,000. That strap would have been, and she's like, yeah, but I'm even. And in the end, it never happened. I never got that strap from her. She was right on, and I had a strap that I had missed when I was counting or something. And it, like, but I would have sworn on a stack of Bibles, not that I give a shit about a Bible, and it was completely invented.
Wow.
And that shook me bad. Like, and I think that she was mad at me because I kept being like, I can't believe that I made that up. And I think she thought when I was saying that I was like insinuating there's no way I made that up. But that's not what I meant. I meant like, that's scary that I fucking I can remember it and it never happened. What the fuck is that? That my brain is that malleable. Yeah. That's scary.
It should be.
Right? Like, oh, no bueno.
Yeah. I've done, I'll have things where, I think I've mentioned this before, I will have conversations in my head that I think I said out loud to my husband. So I'll be like, oh, I told you about that thing. And I'll repeat the conversation and get really irritated that he doesn't remember it. Because to me, it's something that really happened. And then I'll be like, oh, wait, though. Did I not say that out loud? And he'll be like, no, you totally didn't.
I love that, because usually in relationships, a lot of times it's the guy who like doesn't remember shit. And the woman's like, I know we talked about this. And they can like remember exactly when, but in this case, you're actually making it up that we had this talk and that never happened.
No, we never. And I'll be, like you said, I'll be completely confident and convinced that it really did happen. And I will repeat the conversation that I had in my head verbatim, like I think I got him, but it turns out.
So do you have like his side of things too? That like, and you said such and such, even though he never said it.
They're completely invented full conversations.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Have you ever been like really insulting? Like, you said such and such, and he's like, I would literally never say that. How could you think I would ever say that? Like, has it ever been like?
In my conversations in my head, I know him so well that I really don't need him for the conversation. Which is probably why most of them happen in my head.
Oh my God. Sweetie, I mean, if you'd like to participate, it's fine, but I don't need you here for this. If you need to go do something. Good God.
20 years, folks. 20 years.
Wow. I love it.
So Ernie is also in a long relationship, it seems.
I guess so. So Harry leaves, and he's just like in a fucking fury at this point that not only that they don't believe him, but that they are apparently inventing shit now to make it seem more likely. And he is going down the hallway and runs right into Hagrid, who holds up a dead rooster. And it's just like someone's second one killed this term. It's either foxes or a blood-sucking bugbear, which I'd love to know what that is. And this is something that I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Alex Irwin shared today. My apologies if it wasn't, but there was a link to some artistic interpretations of each of the 7 books. And, you know, now we know that the rooster's crow is lethal to the basilisk. But at the time, this feels so like such a non sequitur, like it can't possibly be related. Mm-hmm. And in the image that Alex had sent to us, the one for this book is of Ginny, and the book is like floating below her face and sort of suffusing her face with this greenish light. And underneath the book, her hands are wrapped around a bleeding rooster's neck, like she just snapped its neck. Yeah. And it's pretty brutal, you know, and that's something that bothered me a lot. Like when I was first reading this and realized that she'd been like running around killing roosters and didn't remember. I mean, you know, we eat chickens and roosters, so it's not like, it's not the same. And I'm sorry, anybody out there who's like, it should be the same. It's not the same as if she were killing like adorable cats or something. It's just not, let's be honest. Because I'm just, you know, we're socialized human beings. It's fine.
Did I ever tell you the time my cousins tried to convince me to kill a chicken, wring its neck?
No.
So when I was little and I lived in Georgia with my grandma, you know, it was super, super country, like really, really country, dirt road country. And one of my grandmom's brothers, my uncle, had chickens. You know, he had chickens and cows and horses and, you know, the whole deal. Mm-hmm. And so there was a family thing and all the cousins came and they were talking about how they used to have to go out and kill the chicken for dinner. And so then one of the cousins was like, oh, you know, it's really easy. And he gripped one up and he was like, here, Sean, you know, you just do it like this, and tried to hand me this fucking live bird. Like I was just going to take it and break its neck.
What did you do? Did you just go, like fucking no?
I looked at him like he was fucking, like he had lost his mind, because he clearly had.
Did he kill it?
Yeah. And then, you know, a lot of the older, more countrified cousins all had a nice laugh at my city-fied expense. But, yeah, no, that wasn't happening.
You were the city mouse.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking bring a chicken's neck with my 12-year-old bare hands. Fuck out of here with that.
Right? Yeah, as a kid especially. Like now, I think if somebody was like, here, wring this chicken's neck, I think I could do that shit. I really do. Like, but as a kid, there's no way. Oh,
I don't know, man. Like, those chickens are like super squirmy. There's all kinds of feathers flying. They're.
Well, I mean, I've dealt with farm animals. I worked on a farm for a while. So, like, and I dealt with the damn chickens, which are a pain in the ass.
Oh, my God. They're such a pain in the ass.
They are brats. Listen. The personalities of chickens, just, they don't do anything for me. Goats, that's a different thing. But I really think that if it came down to it, I could kill a chicken pretty easily. Yeah. I think it would be hard with like a mammal, but I still think that I could shut off enough to be able to do that if I were trained. I remember having this conversation with Brendan, and I was like looking at taking a class in butchery, and there was a class where you learned how to slaughter. And I was like, yeah. And I was like looking at it, I was like, I think I could be okay with doing that. And Brendan looked at me for a second and then goes, yeah, I think you could too. And I was like, I'm not sure how to take that, sir, but all right. But yeah, you know, it's one thing when you're an adult and you're kind of like, well, this is a circle of life, whatever. Right. Versus like a 12-year-old who's like, but her name is Bess. So Harry won't tell Hagrid why he's upset, even though Hagrid can tell something is wrong. And he just pushes past him. And then all of a sudden, he trips over this fucking kid on the floor. Like, he trips over his stony body on the floor, his petrified body, which is a messed up way to find somebody. Like,
yeah.
there's something wrong about that.
Harry can't go like 2 steps without fucking tripping over a body at this point. Like, the hallways are just littered with like calcified kids. It's a problem.
Oh my god. I'm just picturing it being specifically Harry too. Like, somebody's just walking in front of him, just dropping people in his path. So first it's Justin Finch Fletchley who is staring like at the ceiling, and then Harry sees nearly headless Nick, who is black and smoky and floating in midair weirdly, which is super bizarre. I remember this combined with the fucking roosters just like 2 paragraphs ago. I remember just being like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I could not understand. There is no, like, and even once you know what's going on, it's still crazy. Like, you still have to kind of be like, wait, how did this go again? Because it's so specific, every instance of it, that it can escape you for a minute. So, you know, to remind everyone here, the reason nearly headless Nick is smoky is because he looks at the basilisk, but he couldn't die again. But Justin saw the basilisk through nearly headless Nick. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't die, he just becomes petrified. With Colin Creevey, he saw the basilisk through the lens of his camera. Yeah. Which is why the inside of the camera's all melted.
Right.
So yeah, Harry stumbles over them, and he's sitting there like, what the fuck? And who should pop up but fucking Peeves?
Of course he does. So what was a scene turns into a huge scene.
Yeah, exactly.
And Peeves sounds the alarm and is pretty does Peeves get a lot of credit for how quick he is on the spot with his little rhymes? You know what I mean?
No, I don't think he does. What kind of credit are you looking for here exactly? What does that look like to you?
He's coming up with this shit like right on the spot, and maybe that should be part of his name, like his official name. You know.
Oh, Potter, you rotter! Oh, what have you done? You're killing off students. You think it's good fun. I can't get to the end of it.
It's off the dome, as the kids say.
Oh, God. So, what you're saying is that he has a sick flow.
Well, you're saying
that it's on fleek. Is
you're
that
also
what the
saying
is that what the children say? His lyrical gymnastics are spastic, and I don't know. I'm trying to think of a word that rhymes with spastic.
I'm gonna ask you to stop.
Oh God. Sorry. I'm just thinking of that crispy sock skit from Key and Peele. Have you watched that?
I think you showed me that once.
Okay, yeah. His mom is rapping in that, and it starts off really goofy, and she's like, I'm MC Mom. But then all of a sudden the beat drops and she gets serious and starts like spitting, and you're like, what is going on? And she just totally like tells off her own son, and it is amazing. So yeah, everybody watch that crispy sock video. So everybody, like the first person, of course, on the scene after fucking Peeves makes a scene again is fucking Ernie, who yells "caught in the act," pointing all dramatically at Harry. And Professor McGonagall herself is just like, shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ.
That's quite enough. Thank you. um,
I love her.
and I think we started talking about Polyjuice Potion that chapter before. I don't know if it's in the recording now. Is it in the recording?
I think so. I kept most of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So what are you thinking about?
No, just because I know the next thing when he gets taken to Dumbledore's office, and we talked about Fox has used picking that moment like burst into flames.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, we hadn't actually gotten up there yet, but we're coming to it. So yeah, McGonagall's just like, this is out of my hands, and Harry thinks that she's saying that she doesn't believe him, but as it turns out, she's really just saying it's very literally, this is out of my hands. I gotta let somebody else handle this. Like, I believe you probably, but like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And hands him off to Dumbledore. And yeah, poor Fox is looking ragged. Raggedy ass.
I love this illustration is him in all his beautiful plumage for the opening of the chapter, and then you change the channel. I mean, you turn the page, not change the channel. You turn the page, and
listen, that's fine. We all know.
And there he is, and he looks a mess.
All right, so you were saying you see his beautiful plumage, and then you change the channel.
And then I said, no, turn the page. It's funny because we were just talking about breaking chickens and eggs, and doesn't that exactly what Fox looks like in this illustration?
Oh, poor Fox. He's been plucked. He's almost ready to be popped into the oven.
He's fucking somebody. Just get ready to happen. And then little like respawned Fox from the ashes is so adorable. He's so tiny.
Oh my god, all withered looking.
Yeah.
Looks like an old man.
I was thinking that as I was looking at this the last time we recorded, it's not a really beautiful image, but there's something about it I really liked. I'm talking about little baby Spawn, that I might think about getting that tattoo. But people would just think I have a weird dead chicken on my wherever part of my body I got it on. But you know how people are always like, oh, the phoenix, you know, it rises from the ashes, and they get like the full bird, like in all its glory. And I feel like this really speaks to my soul.
I like it. All right, that's fair.
This part right after he's just starting to try to be reborn, and it's not pretty, but god damn it, he's here.
God damn it.
Yeah, I might actually legit do that.
I love that. Okay, yeah, I feel you. I still haven't seen any tattoo from these that speaks to me in terms of like that specifically. But except for the one that's for Halloween from the last book, that's a pumpkin. But
right.
like, you know, that's not Harry Potter. That's just a pumpkin because I love pumpkins. That doesn't count. So back to where we had been. Harry gets talked to by Dumbledore, who assures him, first of all, that Fox is fine, and don't worry, I don't think you killed my bird.
Harry is so shook. God damn it, will shit stop dying in front of me?
Right? And he's just kind of gotten, like, reassured Harry here, and Hagrid comes, like, you know, catapulting through the door. And it's just like, it wasn't him. It couldn't have been him. I was with him the whole time. He never. And he's just like, oh, Jesus, Hagrid. I know he didn't. Relax, buddy. It's fine.
You gotta love his enthusiasm, though. You know.
Yeah, he is prepared to go to the mattresses.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. Going to the mattresses. Everybody needs a Hagrid. Even though he causes a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But you need a guy like Hagrid who's just ride or die. He doesn't even wait for all the facts. You know, he's not sitting around talking about, well, we haven't heard all the sides of the story yet. You know, he's not doing that shit. Oh
my God. I love it. So, yeah, then Dumbledore looks at Harry and he seems to know something. And it becomes a lot clearer once you've, read the other books that he knows that Harry's probably got some kind of connection with Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that it's Voldemort opening this somehow. So he's figuring Harry has to have some kind of insight. But the main thing, I think, if I were him, would be I think Harry is being possessed and opening it.
Well, I can't remember. I do know there was a period where I suspected that Harry might be getting possessed, but I think that was later on.
Okay.
So but you're right. I think for Dumbledore, because he's starting to like nose around a little bit, like, what else has been going on? Anything weird happening? Any weird voices you haven't been talking about? And it does seem like the Dumbledore is concerned that maybe Harry is vulnerable to that. But he doesn't really push it, Dumbledore. He lets it go pretty quickly.
Yeah. Which
continues to be my frustration with him. And with Harry, too.
Like, this is the thing is, I understand. I feel like the explanation for him not saying, which is that, hearing voices no one else can hear isn't a good sign even in the wizarding world. That is satisfactory as far as an explanation, but I still get really mad about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's satisfactory especially when you consider that Harry is still quite young, and still very new to this world. So that's satisfactory for Harry. I don't know if I have come across anything yet that really quiets that thing in the back of my head that just goes, Dumbledore, if you had just done X, Y, or Z.
Right.
I still haven't read anything that makes me go, okay, it's all okay then,
No, definitely not.
And I guess that's kind of the point, because by the end of this story, once we get a much more complete picture of Dumbledore, which it takes us forever to get, Once we get all that information, then it's easier for us to understand even his failings.
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
true.
And I think maybe that's part of the deal, that he's not supposed to be this perfect character who does all the right things and makes all the right choices. Even though, as you're reading the books, Dumbledore totally reads like that type of character,
Right.
I kept expecting him to like pull a Gandalf, I just kept expecting him to be like the white wizard who figures everything out and knows what's going on and says and does all the right things. But Dumbledore never really is that character, even though that's what I thought he was going to be and kept expecting him to be. So I guess what I'm saying is I should stop being so hard on him, because that is not the character that was given to me.
I guess if you want to be reasonable and shit. Ugh. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of neat to be able to do that, to be like, oh, he made himself look like he didn't know, like he knew everything that was going on and he didn't, because oftentimes it's the opposite in stories like this, where somebody like pretends to be kind of bumbling or whatever when in fact they had everything under control.
Right.
Or it could be, the same with like a bad guy, like somebody who pretends to be the bumbling bad guy, and in fact he's orchestrating everything, and manipulating everybody. So it's kind of neat that it's a different, like he pretends to be the all-knowing, inscrutable force for good, and it turns out he's just kind of bullshitting.
Yeah.
But I think it is a bummer too.
That I wonder, especially now doing the reread, I'm thinking about things I didn't really think about in the first time. And I wonder if, because Dumbledore has inspired such fierce loyalty in some of our other characters, especially McGonagall, that what would their response have been if he had just been like, dude, I don't know. I thought I knew, You know, I thought I knew, I thought I had it covered, but I don't. This shit's gotten way out of hand. You know what I mean? Like, what would that
Oh
be?
my
Because
God.
he has been managing, in his mind, Dumbledore, he's been managing Voldemort since he was a kid. You know, he always thought he
Right.
was 2 steps ahead. And it and he wasn't. And Voldemort was able to really become Voldemort because Dumbledore kind of kept underestimating him. Either
Right.
underestimating his power or underestimating his lust for power or underestimating just how vicious he could be. Whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
What if Dumbledore had just been like, Minerva, look, let me holler at you real quick. You know, like I don't think that she would have been any less loyal if she had a full appreciation for,
No, more so, I
you
would
know,
think, because
I
then
think
she's
so
been let
too.
in on a secret.
I think so too. And she's so capable.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Dumbledore maybe cheated himself out of someone who could have been really helpful. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
agreed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, Dumby, you know, he gonna Dumby's gonna dumb. So, uh, so the Polyjuice potion, is finally ready, and everybody is basically, it's like reached kind of a fever pitch with people suspecting Harry,
Oh my god.
and they might ordinarily not be like driven to do this stupid ass thing with this Polyjuice potion, but it's so bad that they're kind of like desperate to figure out who it is so that they can just stop
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fred and George, however, found all this very funny. They went out of their way to march ahead of Harry down the corridors, shouting, "Make way for the heir of Slytherin, seriously evil wizard coming through."
You know who
Percy was
they're
deeply disapproving.
fucking Fred and George. You know who they are right now in real life.
Who's that?
They're your Facebook friends that immediately after something terrible happens, they're just out with the memes, right? They're just fucking. They're just like,
Yeah,
you know,
they're memesters.
they're making like those tiki torch jokes, and meanwhile, some of us are like, this shit's not funny yet. Like, but they're just like, this is so ridiculous. How can you not think it's funny? So yeah, that's them. They're too soon, guys.
The too soon guys. "It is not a laughing matter," he said coldly. "Oh, get out of the way, Percy," said Fred. "Harry's in a hurry." "Yeah, he's nipping off to the Chamber of Secrets for a cup of tea with his fanged servant," said George, chortling. Oh, God.
Get used to chortling too. You don't hear that very often anymore.
So Hermione tells them that the potion is ready, and the idea that they come up with is we're gonna inject some of this potion into a couple of cupcakes, and we're gonna leave them somewhere that Crabbe and Goyle can find them. They'll definitely eat them, and then we will dress in robes that fit and go and somehow find the Slytherin common room and just play it cool and question Malfoy.
Right. This plan is as good as the fucking let's go get ice zombie on Game of Thrones. It's like
Right?
that level.
Just like, what are you taught? This is terrible. And I love that finally, where is the line? Oh, here it is. "Have you ever heard of a plan where so many things could go wrong?" But to Harry and Ron's utter amazement, stage 1 of the operation went just as smoothly as Hermione had said. Yeah, so Crabbe and Goyle do just, without question, eat the cakes.
And they make it, and it's like they had like 3 or 4 helpings.
Yep.
Right, and they still went for the cakes.
I feel you, boys. I feel you.
It's cake.
Yeah, you know.
No one is walking by cake. Come on.
Love cake, man. I love it. My handle on the Xbox is Cake Queen.
Do you play games on Xbox?
Not really, but occasionally. I have to have a username, all right?
Okay.
So they grab a couple hairs out of their heads and go in and drop them in this nasty potion and drink it. And Harry and Ron are Crabbe and Goyle, and Hermione drinks hers. But then when it's time to go, she's real weird about it.
She's like, yeah, you guys hang out. You guys go. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna be here.
I'll just chill here and just make sure that the potion is safe, I guess.
Yeah. No big deal. And they're all like, we know the girl that you're gonna be. Who is it, Millicent?
Yeah, Millicent Bulstrode.
They're like, we know she's not attractive, but don't be like whatever about it. Just come on out. Like she's so vain, she can't.
Like that's what it is.
It's something
couple of geniuses, these guys.
And turns out,
they don't find this out until they get back. Yeah. But it turns out she's a cat now.
Oh my God.
The illustration of her as a cat is not my favorite.
It's not mine either. I wanted something. Maybe it's because it's so dark. She looks more like a werewolf. It's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, I felt like he tried to keep her too humanoid. While, you know what I mean? Like, it just looks like she's got her face painted and some contacts in, but there's nothing about her face that really looks cat-like.
Yeah, it's just, agreed. They should have brought her face up and given her some whiskers and, some ears would have been helpful.
Yeah, you're right. She doesn't even have whiskers. Like, come on.
She's got, like, weird vampire teeth, too. I mean, I guess cats have those type of teeth, but mine don't.
But mine don't?
Mine don't.
I don't believe you. So, yeah, they are able to get out of there, and at first, they're wandering around, and they run into Percy, and Ron, forgetting who he looks like, just blurts out, well, what are you doing down here? And Percy's like, fuck you, I'm a prefect. Right. What are you don't get to ask me shit. And he says, it's not safe wandering around. And Ron says, well, you are. I, said Percy, drawing himself up, am a prefect. Nothing's about to attack me. Oh, Percy, you fucking pain in the ass. And Malfoy catches up with them and is like, oh, there you are. Finally, I've been looking for you. And is able to lead them to the common room. Because they couldn't find the damn thing. They ask a couple Ravenclaws where it is.
They got no password.
Yeah, good plan, guys. And the password is pure blood, BT dubs.
Yeah, because
we're all shocked,
right, of
I'm
course
sure.
It is. And then they have to hang out with Malfoy, which was decidedly unpleasant.
Yeah.
This is just not a good time. He's horrible. Just even when he thinks he's with friends, he's just horrible.
Agreed.
It just it was such a slog reading it. I was just like,
oh, I love how like you're just so Yep, that is the correct reaction. I feel you.
Because I kept thinking he's supposed to be with like his two best friends, even though I'm sure he doesn't even think of them as friends and more of like minions. But still, these are his closest compatriots, and he never stops being the worst. Sometimes people who you hate, who are shitty to you, when they are around their people, they're funny and engaging and charismatic. They're just shitty to you. But he's just shitty. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't hang out with him if I was Crabbe or Goyle. Why are they hanging out with him?
I mean, I think they have a very different standard. I mean, yeah.
I guess.
And he has this article that he expects them to, like, laugh over about Arthur Weasley facing an inquiry. And, of course, this is a horrible thing for Ron to read about his father.
Yeah. And Malfoy is just so fucking tickled.
And he can't figure out why they're not laughing.
Right?
He's like, what is wrong with you guys right now? Yeah.
And they have to, like, do a fake laugh. Like, oh, yeah, this is really funny. Meanwhile, Ron is, like, trying not to, like, punch him in the face.
Exactly. That is correct. And the correct reaction.
He asked Ron, like, what's wrong with you? And Ron's like, oh, my stomach.
Weird thing. Weird thing to go to.
That's my go-to.
And I like to, when he says, what's the matter with you two? Far too late, Harry and Ron forced themselves to laugh, but Malfoy seemed satisfied. Perhaps Crabbe and Goyle were always slow on the uptake.
That's so good. Yeah, that's pretty good. And people like Draco, long as you get the laugh out, that's all they care about. They don't even care if it takes
that's
you
true.
minutes or if it's fake. So
that's true.
I wasn't surprised that he was, okay with it,
Right. And then he says the thing that just blows both their minds, which is, I wish I did know who it was. And they're both like, wait, what? Because it just never even occurred to them, apparently, that it wasn't him. Like, at this point, they're so convinced.
Mm-hmm. Ron especially.
Which, that's kind of crazy, honestly, to, like, just be so sure.
Yeah. I mean,
that you're not prepared for the eventuality of...
That's how I live my life, though.
Listen, don't be real with me, please. I can't handle it. I can't. True.
So he doesn't know, and he's mad because his dad won't even give him any information because about what was going on when his father was in school. So he's feeling kind of shitty about that. And meanwhile, Ron and Harry just like, well, it's time for us to go. Like, why are we even here now then?
Yeah. And they're just about to be like, oh, well, maybe. And then they look up and they're already changing back.
Yeah.
Which, that shit does not, like, she said it lasts an hour. That did not feel like an hour.
It doesn't, but I don't know how much time they spent fucking wandering around asking Ravenclaws where the Slytherin common room was.
Exactly. Yeah.
Malfoy says something pretty shitty about Hermione, too. Like, he hopes that he's the one that gets killed next or something.
Yes.
Which,
yep.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's what we're doing here. We're wishing death on our classmates. Because we're like 12 and we're terrible already. Because they're still so young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, what a shit character.
Oh, and Malfoy mentions, too, that they raided our house, and he's like, they didn't find much. Father's got some very valuable dark arts stuff, but luckily we've got our own secret chamber under the drawing room floor. Oh, said Ron. Malfoy looked at him. So did Harry. Ron blushed. Even his hair was turning red. His nose was also slowly lengthening. Their hour was up. Ron was turning back into himself, and from the look of horror he was suddenly giving Harry, he must be too. But they manage, apparently, to jump the fuck out of there before Malfoy notices.
Yeah. I think they ask him to... They try to find out if Malfoy knows who opened the chamber the last time. Mm-hmm. And where they might be. And he doesn't know shit about that either.
No, he says that his father told him to just stay out of the way and let the heir take care of it.
Yeah. He theorizes that whoever did it is probably an Azkaban, but he doesn't know that for sure.
Right.
And then, it's time for them to go.
I just can't handle this stress. Like, I could never do a plan like this. It's too much.
Well, at least not do it without a fucking watch.
Right? You should fucking have a timer, something, guys. Like, Jesus. Carry some extra potion with you and be like, oh, need to take my medicine. I don't know, anything.
Something. But nope, they just run out like fucking cartoon characters, like trying to get out as their body is changing back. And Malfoy doesn't seem to be any the wiser, though.
Mm-mm.
So, I mean, thankful for that.
And when they get back to the bathroom where they've been brewing the potion, Hermione is still not coming out. And they're like, it should be worn off by now. Like, ours is done. Why don't you just come out? And apparently, because it was a cat hair, and it's not meant to be used for animal transformations, it has not turned back yet.
Yeah, she's in a whole different situation. And, you know, you want to be sympathetic to Myrtle when she first is introduced. But she is so fucking awful here.
Yeah, correct.
Any sympathy I was going to have for her went right out the window. She is just gleefully enjoying this, the distress that Hermione is in. Wait till everybody finds out. Wait till they see you. You're so ugly. You have a tail. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that's like, you know, so Owen was just watching The Sopranos.
Oh.
Have you seen this show?
I have.
You remember the whole thing with Paulie and he's got his mom in the home?
Yes.
And she like won't come out of her room and she's making it sound like everybody hates her. And then Paulie talks to the woman who runs the home and it turns out his mom is like insufferable. Mm-hmm. She doesn't put her teeth in when she comes and hangs out with people. She's a tattletale and like runs and tells on all the girls for like nothing.
Yeah.
And he starts to realize that his mom is just not trying to like get along with anybody. And that's what I feel about Myrtle is that she's like, oh, everybody's so mean to me, but she sounds terrible.
Yeah.
You know, so she's like trying to act like it's just this mystery that I'm just being bullied. Yeah. Maybe you're terrible. Maybe that's what it is.
She's the victim here. And, you know, without any regard to her terrible behavior. And maybe the people are responding to that. And that's why they hate you.
Yep.
And it's one of the few moments where we get to see a glimpse of what maybe she might have really been like. Because the rest of the time we see her, she's doing her whole woe is me kind of deal. Mm-hmm. But we get a glimpse of her feeling good, and she's only feeling good because something terrible has happened to someone else.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So basically Harry's like, all right, well, why don't you just go ahead and go to Madame Pomfrey because she never asks many questions, which you really got to love that.
You do.
Thanks, Madame Pomfrey.
I don't know if that's a good quality to have in a school nurse. Maybe a school nurse should be asking these kind of hard questions.
I feel like not, because like they're in a school where so much potentially could go wrong that people wouldn't come forward about, that I feel like you kind of have to not ask questions, or else kids are going to be wandering around with these crazy injuries.
Yes. I mean, she's not a mob doctor, though. I mean, Jesus Christ. You know?
True.
I mean, and she's also an employee of the school. She has to answer to someone. But you're right. It does make sense that they would have sort of an agreement, an unspoken agreement, even between her and Dumbledore, for instance, who would be like, yeah, you're supposed to tell me what's going on, but we need you to help the kids out. And you're like you said, they won't come to you if it's not safe. So. But
exactly.
But this leads me right back down that road of Dumbledore, what are you even doing? Because this is not a responsible way to run a children's school. It's just not.
Listen. We passed that so long ago. I just don't, like, you're not wrong. I'm not going to try and say that, but yeah. All right. So I think that we should wrap this up here.
Oh, okay.
Because this has been about an hour episode. Guys, I'm sorry. We've had like so many, again, problems with our recording that it took us an hour to like record, but we've been here much longer than that, waiting for things to fix themselves and download and correct and whatever. So the next chapter, chapter 13 and 14, we will do next week. It's chapter 13 is The Very Secret Diary, and then chapter 14 is Cornelius Fudge. So I hope y'all can bear with me. I know I announced in the beginning that we're doing chapter 13, but I'm going to cut off that little intro a little bit. Just do something real janky to try and correct it. It'll be fine. You know,
it'll be fine.
It's just it's hard lately. Like I know I've mentioned this, guys, and I'm sorry if you're sick of hearing it, but like for some reason Skype has been just shutting on me when I try and open it, and it'll stay open for a little bit, but then it abruptly is closing. So it's not even like I can try it. It just is it's an exercise in frustration. And Zencastr seemed like the answer, and we've just had nothing but issues with this too. So Chris Tex is going to try and help me with some other recording via Spreaker, which has their own like recording app. But I frankly am wondering if it's not the issue, if it's me. So Owen and I are going to be working on getting my computer a hardwired connection to the internet, because I'm on Wi-Fi always. And hopefully that's all it is. I just, it's like, it's just...
Yeah. I feel like these problems have come about recently, but they've been pretty...
It's been much worse recently.
Yeah, it's getting really intense. And it's just, like, we lose the call several times in a recording, guys, Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that it's like, once or twice and I'm starting to get really annoyed. It's like this time Rashawn and I were able to get through an entire half hour and we didn't lose each other. And that was pretty good.
Yeah.
To give you an idea. And you all know how long our recordings normally are. They're usually about an hour and a half. So if we're, doing an hour and a half recording, we're losing each other around 4 times. Lately on average.
Yeah, and each time, and this time tonight, they were longer. Like, at first when we lose each other, it would pop back like 30 seconds later. Yeah. And tonight it was like 5, 6, 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So,
and then we had an error where it looked like we had completely lost Rashawn's part of the recording.
And we all died inside.
I swear, I almost started crying.
Yeah.
I was like right on the edge, and we were able to recover it, but oh my God, I was flipping out.
Yeah. So this episode is going to be about an hour with the 2 files. So
yeah, exactly. So I think that's good. And it's late. It's midnight where Rashawn is. So I would like to wrap it up. I'm just going to say hi to new patrons real quick, and then we will call it a night. And I want to let y'all know that I know you've been waiting for the Akio Box live unboxing. What Rashawn and I are going to do, we're going to do it on camera tomorrow, I think, during the, hopefully, fingers crossed, during the cocktail hour for $3 and up patrons. Because I got mine already, but Rashawn can't have large boxes delivered to her apartment. So she has to wait for her mother-in-law to bring it over. So I have to wait for her to get hers before we can do it. But we have the boxes in hand, or I do. She will soon. And we're going to do it on camera, and then I'll be cutting the audio from the unboxing into the next episode. So, yeah. And, that might actually, with the way that the editing works out, it might be edited into this episode. I'm not sure exactly how that timing's going to go.
Okay.
But just it's going to be coming up very shortly, and I'm excited about it.
If you're listening to this, that means you're a patron, right?
No, this is for everybody.
Reread? Why did I think?
Yeah, we've been over this so many times. You do this all the time.
I think it's because low key, I was like, this should just be for patrons.
Do you want to know what Rashawn has suggested to me? She suggested that I take off the final 2 books from iTunes and put them behind the patron paywall. So that, yeah, you did. You were cold-blooded.
so calculating. When did that happen to me?
I'm not going to lie. I'm considering it. I am considering it.
I mean,
it's a mean-spirited thing to do, but it's pretty good, though.
It's been up there for everyone for free for a while now, so it's getting
it's
getting to be like an archive thing, and it's not uncommon for older episodes to,
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, guys? I don't want you to hate me, so don't be telling people my plan.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm making sure to tell them all, so that if it happens, they blame you for you being so cold-blooded and not me for being, an opportunist.
This particular thread of the conversation has gotten wildly off track. I was just asking if they were patrons because I was going to say they could join us for the unboxing on the cocktail hour.
$3 and up patrons are doing the cocktail hour.
That's why I was asking.
So yeah, they all can join us.
Oh, but by the time they hear this, it'll be over them, won't it?
Yeah,
never mind.
It's up in the group already.
Okay.
But anyway, guys, that's the thing. And if you're interested in checking out AkioBox, I'm so stoked about this. Seriously, go to akiobox.com. They're also on Facebook at the AkioBox and on Instagram at the AkioBox. And if you use code UNSPOILED, you get 10% off your first 3 boxes, which is kind of great that it's 3.
Yeah.
And it's a subscription box for Harry Potter, and it's really highly rated. Like if you go on, they're on Cratejoy, and if you go on Cratejoy, they're voted like number 1. They have almost perfect reviews, I think. Nice. And they have the most reviews. And, their stuff, they give you 3 to 5 items every month, and it's all like handmade, fan-made stuff. It's not like they, just go and buy things in bulk off of Amazon or somewhere. It's all stuff that's like really unusual and specific. There have been some really cool things that I see on their Instagram. They'll share pictures of like things that had been shared in older boxes. And one of them was a butterbeer scented candle. And there are like butterbeer scented bath bombs or fun t-shirts, or there was this really pretty scarf that had, I think I mentioned this one time, that had it was white with like a pattern of gold snitches all over it, like foil snitches. All this like really cute stuff, and it's the sort of thing that you just don't see out. When you go out, it's a lot of the same crap everywhere.
Yeah, we're all getting stuff from the same places.
Exactly. And especially if you're a Ravenclaw, a lot of that crap has the wrong fucking crest on it. And don't even get me started about that.
You how, even though I haven't seen the movies yet, how I am already incensed when I click on something that's for Ravenclaw and it's not right. Like, I don't even feel like I have a leg to stand on to be that outraged and judgmental, but I totally am. Like, if I see it, I'm like, that is fucking wrong, and I don't want it now.
It's just it's such a stupid thing for them to get wrong. Like, I just don't understand what happened for them to get it that wrong is the main problem for me. Is like, what occurred that you guys were this messed up with it? And like, there are some are fine, they're like, maybe they're still the silver and blue, which is technically not correct, but at least it has the fucking eagle on it, which is supposed to be.
I can't imagine what caused them to make that change.
I think they just thought that the people who weren't book readers were too stupid to understand that it could be called Ravenclaw but not have a raven on it.
They didn't do that for any of the other houses, though, right?
No, like Gryffindor does not have a griffin. It is a fucking lion. Hufflepuff isn't an animal. Hi.
Right. I'm trying to imagine, like, as they're making the movies, someone says, oh, we should totally change this one house to this whole completely different other thing. Like, you told me once that, what is it in the movies? Is it blue and silver or blue and bronze?
They made it into navy blue and silver when the colors are actually navy blue and bronze.
Yeah, so, I mean, even for a movie, I was thinking, initially, I was like, oh, well, maybe it's because they thought the silver wouldn't contrast well enough with the blue, and that's why they changed it. But this was when we first started, and I realized I had it backwards, that it was originally navy blue and bronze. And so they changed it to a color that doesn't contrast as sharply. I don't know, guys.
No, I think I don't think the bronze contrasts as sharply.
You don't?
But I still think, no, like if you look, like there are examples of people who've made their own stuff with the bronze, and it's bronze is a dark color. So against the blue, it is a little bit less of a high impact,
really?
but it's still like to me, it's like we have gold and red, black and yellow, silver and green, and then silver and blue, which I'm like, nobody else has the same element of anything with all the other houses, but now all of a sudden they have Ravenclaw sharing with Slytherin, really, because we both now have silver. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we get kind of like ripped off, where it's not even like we get our own thing. We're sharing part of our color scheme now, which I don't care for. And now it's not even an eagle; it's a raven, which just like
sharing it with Slytherin.
Right? And the whole reason that I get on this is because the ladies at Accio Box fucking know, because they are not a bunch of filthy casuals, as I've said before. They are not a bunch of filthy casuals, so they realize that it is an eagle, and they don't, when you choose which house you want, because at least one item every box is specific to your house. So they ask you when you sign up for the box which house you're in, and they haven't, instead of it saying like Slytherin, Gryffindor, they say lion, badger, eagle, snake.
Oh.
And that's very specifically how you sign up for it, is that you choose the animal, and they make sure to let you know, like, as you're signing up, yeah, eagle, we know. Which I appreciated deeply in my heart.
I'm so excited to get my box tomorrow.
Oh my God, it's been sitting in my living room, and I just keep looking at it. You don't even know.
I thought for sure you were going to
I have restraint.
Do
like
you though?
Crazy. Much more than I thought. Much more than I thought. I really did think when we were talking about it before that if it got here before you got yours, that it was just, I was going to have to fake it.
I thought for sure.
I was just like,
when you messaged me today, I was like, oh, she's opening that shit. And I was like, how am I going to tell her that I'm not getting it until tomorrow? Because it's here, but it's not here. She's going to be pissed.
Kills me. But no, I'm really invested in making this a good and legitimate experience for our fans and listeners, and that they get my actual unadulterated reaction. And I can't wait to see what's in this dumb box. I can't wait.
I'm very tickled by it, the whole thing. So I guess we'll be on camera tomorrow, so you guys, that'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm really excited. It feels like it's really only been like a month since the last cocktail hour, but a lot has happened, and it feels like longer.
I was
That's all I'm gonna say.
The one, I think 2 months ago, where we all, like, it was about 7 of us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was, Chris did that one during my vacation.
Yeah, that was fun.
My quote vacation, in which I still work.
Yeah, you were there.
Yep. Drinking and getting angry.
Yeah, you weren't even drinking that night, though.
That's right. I wasn't.
Sober,
I was just there.
Krista was sober. But it was so fun.
Oh, God. Well, thank you guys all so much for listening and for bearing with us. And I said hi to, I didn't say hi to patrons. I said thank you to donors, but new patrons are Brock 300, Sarah Reentz, Judy? ? Catherine Ross, Deandrea Harris, Julie Bouchard, Tristan Hydett, Silja Ehrenstrom, Nicole Larson, Joseph Angel, Nina Bennett, and Laura. Welcome to all of you guys. Thank you all so much. A few of you are $10 and up patrons, which means that you will be getting this month's awesome postcard, which is Snape was still a dick, though, which you can see a picture of on Facebook if you want to check, or on my Instagram, which is at Unspoiled Podcast. And if you are $5 and up, you will get access to the Twin Peaks show that I'm doing with Maggie currently, which is banana pants and upsetting. It was just upsetting in a lot of ways. We just finished season 2. I watched the movie. I was not ready for the movie. It upset me. Owen came home just as the movie was wrapping up, and I was like, hold me. I needed it. I needed somebody to rock me a little bit. So, yeah. So that's the thing that's happening is Twin Peaks. And then we're going to be doing the third season, which is still airing. And after that, we're going to get into some fun other goodies for probably Harry Potter related stuff. I'm hoping that we can do like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and stuff. And, oh, you know what? Oh, I am so sorry. I realized that somebody sent me the awesome trilogy, the new one that you had gotten as the Hogwarts Library.
Yes.
You know those 3
I'm
books?
right now.
And, oh, now I'm realizing, I think it was Lindsay, but I'm going to go on Facebook and check. But they are gorgeous. She sent them to my P.O. box, and because I have to like borrow the car to go and check that P.O. box. Sometimes I don't see things until they've like been there a minute, and she had to remind me and be like, hey, and yes, it was Lindsay Anderson. I'm so glad I remembered. And it was a little while ago, but she sent them. I had no idea what it was going to be. She was just like, I sent you a surprise. And I pulled them out. They're just beautiful. Yeah. They have like this, the foil inlay, and there's, I just can't say enough. Like, I set them out and like spread the 3 books out and looked at them and then slowly cracked open each binding and was just like, like I just kept being just delighted by them. So thank you so much, Lindsay. And I'm sorry it took me so long to acknowledge that you sent that to me, but it is so appreciated. I feel a little bad because I think last year, maybe, Owen got me the Hogwarts Library that has just the 2 books in it.
Yeah, you told me that, yeah.
So this is kind of usurping his spot, but Owen, I'm sure, understands because I showed them to him and he was like, wow. So I think he gets it. But yeah, so thank you to all the new patrons, and thank you to Lindsay for sending me that present. And thank you to Akio Box for sending us a present that we're going to open soon. All right. Anything else you want to add, madam? Am I forgetting something?
I think that's everything.
All right. Well, thank you for bearing with us again, guys. Hope you enjoy the show. And we will see you next week with 2 more chapters. Toodaloo, motherfuckers.
Bye, guys.
That was an Unspoiled Network podcast.